governments. Now, the Buhari administration is still dealing with the spreading spate of insecurity in Nigeria and the ripple impact on the state of the economy, coupled with an intersection with poverty. Now, despite little wins here and there, the narrative that Boko Haram insurgents in the northeastern part of the country have been technically defeated to some quarters now appears as propaganda, as fatalities still continue to be recorded from attacks. In addition, other bandits also continue to cause mayhem through countless kidnappings and massacres in parts of Zamfara and other parts of the country. Now, Nigeria was ranked third below Afghanistan and Iraq out of 138 countries in the Global Terrorism Index and is said to be the 14th most fragile in the world and the 9th in Africa. That's according to the Fragile States Index. Unsurprisingly, in the same year as well, the country was also ranked 148 out of 163 countries in the Global Peace Index, far below former war-ravaged countries like Sierra Leone, Liberia and Rwanda. Under President Buhari's government now, budgetary allocation dedicated to the recurrent component of internal security is set to be significant. But how much does this translate to winning the war against insecurity? Other subnational governments regularly also allocate resources to something known as the security vote, which many citizens also suspect to be another conduit. The impact of all of such funding remains minimal at best. Joining me now from our bureau in Abuja is retired Commodore Abimbola Ayuba to discuss the need to re-evaluate the achievement of the current administration in Nigeria through the lens of the economy and security, and also urgent steps that we need to consolidate. And good to have you on the Breakfast Show today.
Thank you very much.
Commodore, let's now start with the state of security we have in the country. Let's compare the budgetary allocation for the year 2020, the implementation we've seen so far, and how much you expect would have a stronger implementation in terms of the 2021 budget, because you can't have a sound economy without having security. It affects investors' confidence and much more. Commodore, if you heard me clearly.
Yes, David. Well, the 2021 budget thematically says that budget of economic recovery and resilience. So that really underscores the importance the government has placed on this year's budget, which is significantly much more improved than the 2020 budget. The 2021 budget now stands at 13.588.3 trillion, out of which the defense budget comes to 966.410 billion naira, and that's estimated to be about 2.543 US dollars. So it underscores the importance the government has put into security in this year's budget.
Okay, now, Commodore, let's also talk about looking at the rising cost of food as well as low production base that we've also seen over the past few months. Largely the year 2020, it was quite a back and forth we had in terms of breaches to production processes. Now, how do you also think this would also affect the direction of investment, and what sort of measures do you expect from our security apparatus and authorities within that sector? Because we need to make progress within that regard. Yes, government is doing its own bit, but at state-by-state efforts, what do you envisage in terms of making each state much more competitively advantaged, pushing security as the front burner?
Thank you very much, David. As is very clear right now, the scourge of insurgency in the northeast, the northwest, spiraling into the north central and gradually inching to the southwest is surely affecting food production on a large scale because of the restricted nature of farming activities in all these areas. And farmers are unable to grow optimally crops that we expect will have given us better yield and ensure our food security in the country. Notwithstanding, the security efforts are upscaling, and we hope that in the first quarter to first half of the year, we expect to see better space dominance by our forces, and that people will be able to return back to their traditional activities, which include farming, fishing, pastoral activities, especially in northeastern part of Nigeria, Borno specifically.
Why do you also think, Commodore, we have some cloud of mistrust when it comes to security votes? Why do you think we have this phenomenon in Nigeria?
Well, in every country, the contest for security spending is a factor of the country's survivability. And it's usually referred to as guns versus butter. Because when you talk about food and other needs of society, people will always oppose so much spending on defense, which underscores the importance of understanding the political economy of national security, which is quite complex and must continue to be monitored and highlighted so that the whole nation will see itself as a stakeholder. For instance, in the 2021 budget and its team, if it has to achieve its aim, security has to be optimal for economic recovery to entrench itself, and of course for social inclusion and competitiveness to take hold.
Commander, now talking about conversations across board, especially on the global front as well as replicating such models in Nigeria, we look at the fact that the manufacturing sector, aviation, maritime, a whole lot more, and other emerging sectors of the economy, everyone is seemingly leveraging on technology transfer or new disruptions that redefine the course of doing business. Now, what's also your anticipation in terms of the security apparatus also rejigging its processes in terms of leveraging on intelligence, security, AI, artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and much more? The fight against insurgency has to take a new approach, wouldn't you say?
Yes, of course. David, it's been said, and for the opting time, that there's need to rejig the security apparatus. But in doing so, we must understand that more than 90% of our defense equipment requirements are dollar-based and are manufactured by countries that are leading in the area of technology. And of course, that means that we must now begin to look at placing premium on defense research, and of course, rejigging the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria to be able to produce the bulk of our defense requirements, and also the local industry in terms of textile, garment, shoe manufacturing. There's so a whole gamut of vehicle manufacturing towards defense and security purposes.
Commander, wrapping up our conversation in just 1 minute, I'd just like your thought on this situation. Now we are looking at the prospects for the year 2020. We've had so many recovery patterns. The country's in recession. Forecasts are being made. But at this point in time, what do you think is the forecast we'll see in terms of the business climate hinged on security situation in the first 2 quarters of this year, because that's when we're looking at the country bouncing out of recession. How do you think security will play out this year?
Well, security performance will depend on how much of the budget performs, whether it performs maximally at 100%, if it will be faithfully implemented. Will the security situation escalate or de-escalate? And of course, we are hoping that if these things are done religiously, we expect that the security climate will improve beyond higher and above what we experienced in 2020, and thereby providing that enabling environment for business activities to thrive.
Thank you very much for your time on the Breakfast Show today, Commodore Abimbola Ayuba. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, sir, and then hopefully we would see a stronger implementation of the 2021 budget. We cannot play with security as it stands. The ripple effect is far too devastating. Thank you very much.